Hi, it's good for children to see LGBTQ lives and LGBTQ people. And it's not just good, it's wonderful. Let me tell you something about LGBTQ, right? It's about trans.
Jeffrey Marsh is popular for his self-love messages aimed at kids and teens on social media. He's a well-known author whose 2 books, How to Be You and Take Your Own Advice, have gained global popularity, earning praise from mainstream media.
Look at these little hearts and these beautiful drawings by my friend Danny. It makes me so happy.
However, behind this positive facade, something dark is lurking. This TikToker is becoming notorious for being accused of child grooming, predatory behavior, and posing a danger to the LGBTQ+ community.
I'm Jeffrey. I am a danger to children. Hi, kids. Hey, kids.
He identifies as a non-binary and transgender person on TikTok. He presents himself as a spiritual person and a transgender coach, claiming his main goal is to teach children about the LGBTQ+ community.
Hi, LGBTQ characters and LGBTQ culture is a great thing for kids to see. Let's talk about it, because you are important.
In doing so, he shares age-inappropriate content on his Patreon and TikTok that is leading the transgender community, and concerned parents speak out against him. What is he doing, and why are people giving him the label of a child predator? We'll discuss this in detail in this video, but before we begin, kindly subscribe to our channel. Now, without further delay, let's start with the background of Jeffrey Marsh. Jeffrey Marsh is a 47-year-old transgender TikToker and author whose videos often receive billions of views. He initially started his social media career as a musician.
Why not gather all you need? Let yourself join without warning.
Honestly, his music videos never received any recognition, as Jeffrey lacks the talent and skills needed to succeed in his industry. Moreover, many viewers found these videos creepy and unsettling. After being unsuccessful in this niche, Jeffrey shifted to creating educational content about the marginalized LGBTQ+ community. He began teaching his audience about this community while spreading self-love messages to kids and teens. He wants people to accept their identity and not make other people's lives difficult because of their unique sexual identity.
If you are non-binary, if you are trans, I love you. I respect you.
These videos, along with his books, gave him a widespread appraisal online. The fun fact here is that in 2016, Jeffrey appeared in Newsmax for an interview.
Joined now by Jeffrey Marsh, LGBTQ activist and author of the new book, How to Be You.
There he claimed he was the first bold, non-binary person to appear on national television and speak openly about transgender rights. This claim gave him a backlash from the internet, as this claim was baseless and proved the egotistical nature of Jeffrey. After this, gradually and slowly, his content started becoming creepy and dark.
I do not problem solve in my life coaching business, because the problem always ends up being you. We're not doing that. Hi, should you cut off contact with family members just because they are voting for Donald Trump?
In almost every video, Jeffrey became aggressive, making his content cringeworthy. He started blaming other people for every wrongdoing happening in his life. He continuously pointed his fingers at different people, accusing them of things they hadn't done.
Hi, obviously you dislike me. You're triggered by something in me, and I don't mind it. I send you love. I send you kindness. You know, one of us has to be the one to stop so that the other person's stuff.
Whenever his audience asked him a question, instead of providing them an answer, Jeffrey would either give an irrelevant motivational speech or react with such anger without any apparent reason.
Oh, I'm aware that because I'm non-binary, I'm confusing to you. But you're going to have to respect me. You think that getting it comes before respecting me, but it's the other way around.
What's even more infuriating is that he never acknowledged his anger or aggression. Instead, he played the victim for no reason.
So people on the right find me gross. They find trans people gross, icky.
Due to this behavior, every other influencer, including transgender creators, began criticizing Jeffrey Marsh. In response, Jeffrey defended himself by claiming that their criticism was baseless and that they were chasing controversies to earn dollars. At this, the transgender community became furious. According to them, it would never tarnish the reputation of their community. They believed Jeffrey deserved the criticism he was getting.
This makes people money. You're a group. You're a group. It is economic. It's their job as these types of influencers to keep people afraid of trans folks and clicking on videos. They want to trade trans safety for money.
Now the question is, why is Jeffrey aggressive? What type of dark content does he have on his social media that is making transgender community angry? Let's discuss these questions one by one. Why is Jeffrey aggressive? The answer to this question lies in his childhood experiences.
So what I dislike about childhood trauma is we relive it. I'm 46 years old, still comes around, and I didn't do anything to bring it on in the first place, and here I am redoing. And what I love about childhood trauma, or having been through it, is that it has made me a good, kind, beautiful, empathetic person.
Jeffrey belonged to New York, Pennsylvania, and grew up on a nearby farm. According to him, he had a rough childhood, as his parents, friends, and teachers were unable to accept his identity. He faced bullying at his school, experienced criticism, and alleged violence from his parents, Stephen and Stacy Marsh.
He's a pastor.
Okay, so when did this all start happening? Like where you started wearing makeup and wearing women's clothes?
Oh, well, wearing makeup was about, third grade. Started wearing my mom's clothes.
What did your dad say?
At first, as you might imagine, both parents had a negative reaction. I told Mom, my relationship with Dad was always strained. I told Mom when I was 11 years old.
What kind of violence? He never specified. He only shared that he discovered his identity at a young age, and his parents refused to accept him. They were conservative Christians, with his mother being a Lutheran pastor. For them, accepting a queer child was a challenge. On top of this, Jeffrey began wearing feminine clothes from a young age. This made him a target for bullying in high school, leading him to develop resentment toward his school and teachers.
I can imagine, I don't have to imagine, I can remember being in high school and how difficult it was, day after day.
Now here, many critics believe Jeffrey is only sharing one side of the story. While it's true that his parents and friends gave him a tough time, he was also not a complete saint here. In one of the videos, he admitted to stealing female clothes and hiding them in his trunk. Such aggressive actions may have understandably made his parents worried and fueled their anger, turning them into homophobes. This suggests that Jeffrey also played a role in the conflicts he faced during childhood. His rough upbringing filled him with hatred toward Christianity.
God is non-binary.
As a result, he turned himself into a Buddhist and joined a monastery in search of spirituality and peace. According to him, he aimed to spread love and harmony to the world.
Completely. I had to do something drastic.
However, there is no sign of peace and happiness in his content. Instead, he appears filled with anger and aggression, as if the baggage of childhood trauma is weighing him down. He's disconnected from his real self and inner peace, making his online content unbearable.
I think probably the most important, I'm not Christian, but the most important words in the Bible are love your neighbor as yourself. And Jesus himself stood between religious conservatives and the people those conservatives are trying to persecute.
He clearly needs therapy to process his childhood traumas, yet he declines help, insisting that Buddhism alone provides him with peace. This claim has sparked heavy criticism online. His unresolved trauma has shaped his aggressive personality, and perhaps it's also why he focuses so much on educating children, but in doing so his content has started becoming inappropriate and dark for young viewers, converting him into a child groomer or predator. Jeffrey Marsh has shared a series of TikTok videos that have always started with "Hi kids." These are a few glimpses of this series.
Hi kids! There's no such thing as a boy or a girl. I want to talk to the kids. Parents watch the video and then hand the phone over to the young kids.
You can clearly see how these creepy and inappropriate videos are directly targeting minors and young children. The main focus of these videos is educating minors about non-binary people and gender identity. On the surface, it appears that Jeffrey wants young kids to know about their sexual identities and not bully other queer kids. He doesn't want them to convert into bullies or face any sort of societal pressure because of their gender identities.
If you see a kid like me or an adult like me, would you be extra nice to them? Would you do me a favor and be very, very kind? Yeah, like anybody, we can feel lonely. And so if you're kind to us, it would be really, really important.
However, this series raises serious concerns. The first one is addressing children directly in this manner is inappropriate. No stranger should be having these sort of conversations with minors.
Hi kids! It's possible to be like me and be happy. In fact, it's great to be like me and to be happy. It's okay to like dresses, to like sparkly things, to be a little...
Secondly, Jeffrey Marsh has advised children to leave their families behind and make them their families if their parents don't accept their identities. In his content, he portrays parents as the problem, while positioning himself as the solution. According to him, children shouldn't listen to their parents and should instead walk away from them.
Sir, if they are unwilling to change, they must experience consequences, and you should not withhold those consequences from them. The consequence in this case would be they don't get your beautiful, loving, wonderful presence in their lives. It's over, and they are gone. You need to make it real for yourself.
Now, this advice is deeply concerning for parents, and many influencers criticize Jeffrey for it. Encouraging kids to abandon their safe places and following creepy strangers like him is highly dangerous and disastrous. Finally, the most disturbing aspect of Jeffrey's TikTok series is his Patreon account. He has a Patreon where he's actively inviting young kids to become premium members, offering them a private space where they can discuss topics that are not allowed on TikTok.
Your parents screwed up. It's okay to say so. That's why I made a Patreon, so that we could talk about it, so that we could connect in a way that has more privacy, so that we could talk to each other in a way that's more open and stuff that we wouldn't share like in the comments.
On his Patreon, he discusses sex and childhood trauma, and even makes disturbing comments about molesting Muslim women. He urges kids or minors to leave their families behind and prioritize him as their guide toward the right path. He openly discusses non-binary gender identity, urging kids to become part of his community. This is the most unsettling part of his content, leading influencers all around the globe to criticize him. They want TikTok to cancel Jeffrey so that he can remain away from their kids.
Hi guys, I'd like to talk to the kids.
Hi, it's good for children to see LGBTQ lives and LGBTQ people. And it's not just good, it's wonderful.
We all know that young children cannot objectively assess their relationship with their parents. At such a tender age, telling them to have no contact with their parents and leave everything behind can leave them to emotional confusion and unnecessary family rifts. However, a lot of people are also defending Jeffrey. They believe that Jeffrey's Patreon is not meant for young children, and that he's addressing adults here who are in toxic family dynamics. But the point here is that the content and the tone of Jeffrey strongly suggest he's targeting young children. Moreover, his platform contains videos where he exclusively addresses minors, encouraging them to contact him privately without their parents knowing. It's clear that his content attracts young viewers, making them curious about becoming part of his Patreon. That's why a lot of parents, transgender communities, and influencers continue to criticize him.
Telling kids to chat with him privately on his Patreon without the parents knowing, and then teaching them about different pronouns, transgenderism, how biological sex is fake, and not to listen to their bigoted parents if they disagree with that.
In response to this backlash, Jeffrey becomes aggressive and angry. He starts creating questionable content against those influencers who are calling him out. In doing so, he becomes a part of a major and dark controversy that shakes the whole social media world. We'll go into that controversy in a moment, but first let's ask, why is Jeffrey doing this? Why is he creating videos directed at minors and attracting a lot of hate and backlash from the online community? I bet he already knows the ethical and legal consequences that come with these videos. The most logical explanation is that Jeffrey is chasing attention. His social media reach was declining, making him desperate to grab attention and remain relevant. In his desperation to stay relevant, he started targeting minors, stirring controversy to regain followers and engagement. Well, in this whole scenario, he succeeds in getting reach and followers, but at the cost of his credibility and respect. Now let's discuss the darkest controversy of Jeffrey, which is full of violence, hypocrisy, and cruelty.
Trans people that we're inspirational.
Stop telling kids to go on your Patreon and chat to you privately without their parents knowing.
Hey kids, I want to talk to the kid. I made a Patreon so that we could talk about it.
And this is Jeffrey Marsh's Patreon. So I just got an email saying, pretty much a threat.
Shumaran Nessa is a Muslim hijabi vlogger and a mom who's determined to protect her kids from Jeffrey's Patreon agenda. She made several videos criticizing him, exposing his Patreon account, and urging her followers to report Jeffrey's social media accounts. One of her videos went viral, gaining widespread support. In response to this, Jeffrey reacted aggressively. He began threatening this Muslim vlogger, targeting her religion and headscarf. She faced backlash, with people stitching her videos and posting her images without a headscarf online, without her consent. Despite this, she didn't back down from criticizing Jeffrey and made a video addressing this online harassment.
You talk about this topic with kids. Now here are just some of the signs of grooming. Literally one of the first ones, gaining access and isolating the victim.
From here, things took an ugly turn. Jeffrey responded to this video by sharing the personal information of Shumaran with his fans, encouraging them to attack her and her children to silence her criticism. Yeah, he stooped to that level. In numerous videos, he continued harassing Shumaran in various vague methods.
It's okay to say so. Beautiful. If you do not have a family that loves you, I'm going to be your family.
No, you can't.
After a few days of her viral videos, Jeffrey's fans vandalized Shumaran's property and car. She also got a threatening email in which Jeffrey shared the whole schedule and information about her children.
So I just got an email saying, pretty much a threat, saying they know where I live. And what scares me the most is they have got my daughter's details on the email, like what time I leave to drop them to school, pick them up. And it's not a coincidence because both of my daughters, they go to 2 different schools, so they know. They've given the school details and everything, so yeah, my daughters are involved now in this. Some of you might know that my car was damaged in this whole thing.
Seeing this email, Shumaran became teary and shared a video apologizing to Jeffrey.
I don't want to do anything. I'm not going to talk about Jeffrey Marsh. I've deleted everything, removed it. If you guys want to go ahead, go ahead. Don't come to my house.
The most shocking thing here is Jeffrey was pleased with this whole situation and thanked his followers for harassing the innocent Muslim woman.
Thank you for being a trans ally. Thank you for your big heart. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. You might have noticed it's things are a little hairy on the LGBTQ front with hate and hateful people.
This video has shattered Jeffrey's image as a peaceful and compassionate person. Influencers, both Muslims and non-Muslims, stood with Shumaran and asked the online world to cancel Jeffrey. As a result of this backlash, Jeffrey Marsh lost most of his viewers and followers. Where he once garnered millions of views, he now only receives a few thousand views. Despite this, he hasn't stopped posting passive-aggressive videos, continues to make them, though he has disabled his comment section to avoid any negative feedback. That's all for Jeffrey. What are your thoughts about him? Do share with us in the comment section down below.